My name is Donna Moore Stewart. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, the beautiful Sunshine Island in the sea. I was born, I was raised with four other siblings at the time.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started into this episode.
We are coming from a home where it's a single parent. My mother is a single parent and she raised us. Life was never easy for us. But I did not look at my circumstances. I've always had this projection of greatness. I migrated to the United States in my 20s, and I have just tried to make life better for myself and for those around me. The journey will continue, and it is continuing.
You have this air of greatness around you, and you didn't stop there, expecting that the greatness will come. You will keep working on it, and to the point of even migrating to the US. I think that is what a lot of immigrants do
Yeah.
that find themselves in the West, particularly maybe those that are coming from Africa. We are paying attention to people of African descent. We're interested in your story. Let's take us down again to Jamaica. Tell us, what do you remember of you growing up in Jamaica?
Growing up as a child, it was always a struggle. My mom was a single mother, and she would do things for us to survive. Her way of coming up with resources. She was not the person who had a 9 to 5 job. So she was very resourceful. She would plant produce and we would reap the produce and take it to the markets. So, yes, I used to sell in the market, in a couple of markets at the market gates in Jamaica. And that is what I remember mostly. It wasn't the fact the beautiful sitting around dining room table. It was never that for me. But there was always something inside of me that will know that there was always a better world out there. And I know that in order to get to that world, I would have to work. And one thing they taught us growing up is this, that we must have manners. I don't know if you have ever heard it.
I'm from Nigeria, so
Right? So
yeah.
so you must have manners. So I figured, they said manners, if you have manners, it will take you a long way. So I endeavored, my best to have manners, meaning I was always kind to people, or I would be respectful to those around me. And it did work. Believe it or not, for me it worked. So
Yeah.
doing the hard work, selling at market gates, um, and being respectful helped me because people spotted that within me and they helped me along the way.
You were selling in the market gate, but what exactly were you actually selling? Maybe by you telling me the kind of thing that you were selling, we are beginning to get more closer now to the reality, and of course, helping people that are listening to us to have a better feel of your environment, where you are coming from, the perfume, the sensation, the smell, the everything, because that is how we are going to get connected. So what were you actually selling in terms of the produce?
Well, it started out early in life. My mom used to send us to the country with an aunt. We call her Aunt Edna. She died years now. And she was from St. Andrew. It's the hilly area of Jamaica. And they would plant thyme, carrots, scallion, and those that I can still smell the richness of the thyme in the country even now at this age. And she would come to the market to sell those. So we would be in Coronation Market when they parcel them. Trying to remember the word, they bag them up or tie them up. So as a young child, I would walk around and called scallion time. And lady, you want to buy scallion? Lady, you want to buy thyme? So that's where it started. And I'm thinking that I possibly was not even 10 years old at that time doing that. So so that is where that came. But when my mother and I started to plant crops, she planted okra and cucumber. And okra was my main thing for selling in Jamaica. It was a fast crop, meaning every week we would reap the okra and go to the market. We would reap it on Friday evening after school, and then we will get it ready to take to the market on Saturday mornings. We would get up, I would get up early. I said we because my sister was with me, it wasn't just myself. So I would get up early on Saturday morning, try to get to that bus and try to get a good spot in the market. By this, I am a teenager. Now, the town in which I live in, you would love this. Um, the town in which I live in, I would never go to that market to sell because I am a teenager and my school friends would have seen me. Yeah, yeah, and I didn't look poor, I didn't look hungry, and there were times when I went to school very hungry, and so I would go to the market gates in Maypen, Clarendon, and sell early in the morning, and we would be finished by 12 o'clock. All the okra would have been gone. So I remember that okra, man. I love okra to this day.
Ah, me too.
I
Me too.
know. I
Me too.
know.
I like okra a lot. Of course, anyway, we also grew okra in part of Nigeria where I grew up from, which is the south of Nigeria.
Mhm.
It's one of my favorite soup, actually. Anyway, my wife also cook it from time to time here. Even though we are living in Italy, we managed to, of course, the okra managed to get to Italy too. So we buy in the
Yes.
African shop as it is. So we enjoy it
Mm.
here.
I tell you, we're all one, man. Some of that okra make it way to Jamaica.
All right. So tell me a bit. Now you get to the United States. How was it like in the first time that you are trying to admit yourself? You are trying to get used to the system and to find your feet on the ground. How was it like for you?
Well, before I get to the United States, I could say that at the age of 17, I was living on my own. I have a full-time job. I have my own apartment. And I was working at, believe it or not, after I graduated high school, my first good job was in the market at all. It was working in a funeral home. So I was a secretary or a type clerk typist. So that's where my official job experience began. And I worked there. And I was kind to a US citizen at that time while on the job. And that's how I got my visa to come to America, right? And so, but I remember when he granted me the visa, he said, promise me that you will do good in the world. Promise me that you will not run off, meaning you would not overstay this visa. And to this day, I am just living up to that promise. Can I tell you that I don't even remember his name? I don't even, I've never seen him again. But I just thank my stars. I just thank God for putting that man across my path to where I am today. So, so I'm trying to find the right word when I segue into the United States kind of living. Um, I had the presence of mind that I was not going to be illegal, right? So I would find jobs. So what I would do when I decided that I want to migrate fully, I went back to Jamaica and went to cosmetologist school. The fact that I have my license and I came to this country, I was able to work legally in salons so that I could find my way. So I did not have the difficult time some people experience as they come. into this country, I did not have it because the presence of mind that I had was always to help my siblings and my friends to come to this country. So that's how it starts. So I don't have that sad story. Yes, I stayed with some family members, and of course, they want you out. After 3 weeks, they want you out. But because I was working, I was able to pay my way.
Thank you for that.
Mm.
Thank you for that. How do you describe what you do today for people that are maybe see you for the first time?
Each time an interviewer asked me, I stumbled what my occupation is because I wear so many hats. I am an author of a book, a devotional called Building the Kingdom of God. I am also a songwriter. I have two songs that are available that I wrote, and two singers sang it. I am also the CEO of a radio station here in New York. I am also a real estate sales agent. So from selling okra at market gates to now selling homes in the United States. But the baby that I would love to highlight is my non for profit that I have been doing for 29 years. And it's called the Pollyanna Project, where we have been helping children and families for the last 29 years, children to go back to school, and families, we have been giving them help. So, are you tired at this point of the amount of things that I do? Because
Not at all.
I am.
Anyway, this is why we are here. We are here to explore the story. But anyway, yeah, we could actually talk about all of them. But let's, for the sake of, so that we'll be able to explore that way, let's take it one piece at a time.
Sure.
I like the radio part. And let's start from there because you are telling story. You are bringing people in. I want to believe that you are sharing your experience with the people. So tell me, how did you get there from selling okra in Jamaica? You get to the US and to the radio station. Tell me about it. Help us understand how you get there.
Okay. And my life is really by chance, or chance. I do not have a vision board where I said I'm going to have a radio station, I'm going to be a real estate sales agent, I'm going to be that. There, I have a clean slate almost every day. I just listen to the voice of the Lord and follow His direction. So how did I get to the radio? I was being interviewed on a radio station, and the host said to me, have you ever tried being on radio? Your voice is something else. You don't know your voice. You've never listened to yourself. And at this point, I hated how I sound. I really did. To that point on my life, I hated what I sound like. And for someone to tell me for the first time that I sound great, my voice sound great, I was blown away. Absolutely blown away. So he said, you should explore radio as a career. And I'm like, radio? But how am I going to get on radio? And he said, I will put you on radio. So I went from an interview to being a host on the radio station, just like that. Believe it, Obie, just like that. And from there, um, I opened, just following the leading, and I opened my own radio station. I created and formed my own dial here in New York. So we've been having people. I've done interviews. I've spoke to some great people, authors, singers, ordinary people, and it's just a wonderful ride for the last 4 years. I have been doing it. It started in 2019, just before COVID hit, and we have been doing that ever since.
That is so powerful. I love it. I said it continuously here. That storytelling is powerful. That is sharing our story because we have our experiences. When you look at an individual, sometimes you just think that maybe that is all of it. No, we are usually not all of it. Our story extends to generations, a lot of generation behind us, and that is also true of our experiences. Just now we were talking of you selling okra in Jamaica. Now you are a CEO of a radio station in New York. So if somebody were to be trailing that journey, you see there is a lot of things that you have done that sort of help you to get to where you are today.
So true.
And that is very important. Now, why are we sharing this story? We are sharing this story so that we can inspire other people.
Yes.
Maybe another young girl that is somewhere in Jamaica today listening to you, or maybe somewhere in another part of the world listening to you and say, if she can do it, I
I
can do
can.
it too. That is the entire essence, to inspire other people.
That is my life purpose. That is just my life purpose, and that's the reason for my transparency in my journey. Because going to school back in Jamaica, there were days I went to school hungry. Not one time, not twice, a lot of times. There were days when I could not. My mother did not have the fare for me to take transportation, so I walked to school, and it was like a 3 mile walk. If I tried to, we would call it boom a ride or hitch a ride. If we didn't get a hitch ride to the town, I had to walk. There are days when I went to school hungry, and I've often said to people, I don't understand how I graduated high school. I don't understand, because I was hungry most of the time, but by some force, I passed my studies and I was able to graduate high school. So that is the reason why I'm so passionate with helping students go back to school. You see the connection? Helping family who are suffering, who would sit there and want to give up because they don't have the means to get to school, who do not have the sustenance to get to school, who do not have the school supplies. They wouldn't go. There were days I did not have school supplies, but I still went. Um, when it comes to my school uniform, I was the girl who wore hand me down uniform from my friends. And I still, here I am today, not embarrassed because of that. So I become passionate. I make my journey my passion, where I can help a student go back to school.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for living your dream. When you sing, of course, it is you that is singing. But in most of the cases, you are not singing only for yourself. You are
Mhm.
singing because you are inviting others to share in your joy,
Mhm.
in your experience. Of course, it's coming from you, but you are sharing it. If talking was for you, you would not talk because you already have the idea in your head. But the fact that you are talking, meaning that you are inviting other entity to share with you.
Yeah.
That is why you are talking. Because if I'm talking to myself like I'm talking now, there's something is wrong with me.
Mhm.
So if I'm talking, meaning I'm engaging, there is somebody who is listening. So thank you for being who you are, your authenticity, which you use to inspire others. That is very important.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, but how do you manage to juggle all these things together? How do you manage to do all of that together?
You're the third person asking me that question today. I it's time management, really. I call it time management. And that's it. I have a whiteboard that I compartmentalized everything. I compartmental, and it has to be in front of my face. So if I walk into that room, my entrance room, it is there. The things that I have to accomplish today, that's my vision board. I do not have a vision board for, like what I want to accomplish next year. It's what I must do now. And once it is done, I erase it. So that is how I compartmentalize and accomplish things. I have my real estate, what I have to do, if it's a listing, it's a showing, if it's a buyer, I have that. And then the radio, and I have to say I'm going to be in radio, usually in the evening. So everything that I have to do has to be before that. Thursday, I am like today, I am not on the radio. So I am free to do what we're doing now. Um, the Pollyanna Project, I have to put sponsors, so that's what I do. It's just putting things where I can see it and accomplish it. And once I have accomplished it, I erase it because I know there's more things to add onto that board and more things to do.
You see, even that again is something that somebody should really sit down and really listen very carefully. Uh, you see, when in the world that we live in today, we talk of branding and we talk of specialization and we talk of niche down, and sometimes people get it wrong, or people get it too frightening to live who they really are. They think that because you are doing something, that is the only thing that you need to do. That is the only thing you must do. But it is not always like that in
No.
real life.
Mm-mm.
Okay, a couple of years ago, I wrote a book that I titled Crisis of Identity.
Mm.
Of course, you look at also the story of immigration, story of what I've experienced, what I've seen on. Then at a point, I was saying, how do you even define yourself as a man, as a human being? And then I make an example of myself. I say, well, look at me. I am coming from Nigeria. That is one thing. But note, Nigeria is in Africa. That is a second thing. Now, I am in Italy, which is another thing. I am a man, another thing again. I am an immigrant, that is another thing. I am a father, that is another thing. I am a husband, that is another thing.
Yes.
I'm also a co-worker of other people. That is, see, and all these things are true and they are all me.
Yes.
I cannot simply say just because I'm immigrant now, I am no longer a father. I am still the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So that I like the idea that we need to understand that the very who we are complex. So if you have the strength to be able to live all these multiples of identity and live it well, go ahead. Because this is the only time you have. So live it. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is coming to do it.
That's so
Of
true.
course, people can do other things, but that thing that you are supposed to do in this world, nobody else is going to do that. If you don't do it, it's going to be dash in the entire universe.
So true.
So, how do you manage to remain consistent in it? Because this way, again, we are talking for the people that are listening. I wanted to learn from you. How do you manage to, okay, now you talk of the vision board that you have there that identify what you are going to do for the day. Then when you finish which one, you cross it, that is done, then you move to the next one. How do you manage to have the discipline to remain on it? Because sometimes what people know that they want to do something, but the discipline to really say, okay, this is point A. Point A, I'm going to maybe drive from this angle to the other angle. This is what I'm going to do this time. Then I'm going to do another thing. Some people we don't have the discipline to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So share with us your discipline to remain on track so that you cross each and every one of them for the end of the day.
Um, Bottom line is this: the universe will not let me quit.
I love that. I love that.
The universe will not let me quit. That's the bottom line. I'm human. I want to give up, but there is a force that keeps propelling me to continue. Um, there are times I want to quit some of the jobs, but then there is someone in need that wants me to help them, and I was created to help people. Um, there are times I want to quit my nonprofit, but then someone calls me out of the blue and says, Donna, I have items for you to give to someone or a family or a country. Those are the reason why I'm constantly going, because the universe or what it entails will not allow me to quit. And I am not going to quit on myself. if I have other forces pushing me forward. So because I'm aware of that, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. You're not gonna quit, right? You're gonna. Recently, I have. Recently, we have a disaster, a personal disaster, and I can share that. Our house, our home that we live in. I've lived in my home for almost 30 years. I have a husband, two sons, twin boys, 18 years old. And we've been there, they're 18. My husband and I have been married for 23 years now. And our home was destroyed by water in December, right?
Sorry
So
about that.
that's okay. We're not, no, no, no apology, please. I'm living my best life. Thank you, but I don't want it to look, because there is always a good thing. You will find the positive energy always coming out of me, right? So, um, so in my house, there we live, like a three-story house. The water pipe burst on the second floor, went down to the first floor and to my basement where my studio was, and my salon, my beauty salon was. It totally destroyed my studio and it totally destroyed my beauty salon. Now, I have been trying to end one of these jobs, and I did not have the guts to end the hairdressing, because on Saturday I would do hair. I have clients whom I would do their hair on Saturday. And I have been wanting to quit for the longest, and I wouldn't quit. I didn't have the guts to tell my clients that I'm
It's over.
tired. I told the universe stepped in and destroyed the salon. You understand what I'm saying, Obi? Because I could not do it myself. So that's how things happen. So now I we're living. The good news is we're living someplace. For years I've said I wanted to live in a nice penthouse, or the universe provided me one now, and we've been living there in the last since January, since the first part of January. This is what I'm talking about. How everything's happened. So we're living in a home where if I was living home, I would have to cook, clean, and all of that. Since January, it's that's not happening. I have someone clean for me, even in destruction, even when it is supposed to be the worst time of my life. I'm still living my best life. I guess having manners work, right?
From the beginning.
Yeah. So as I tell you, I didn't plan all of this. Didn't plan any of it, my friend. But it happens.
All right, I want also to go back to the radio again because I think that is a particularly of interest to me.
Okay.
How do you prepare for your program usually? What happened? Tell us, because we don't see what is happening there. Take us into your radio studio. What is happening there?
Okay. Well, as you will hear me always saying the universe is God, right? Because I do not have a plan. I don't know how it is all happening, hobby. I don't know. Um, I get up and I'm listening to what the Lord is saying. My radio show have a schedule. We comes on at a certain time. Nothing is ever scheduled or planned. Um, but it is so good. Let me take one of my show, because I have four different shows, not just one show every day. But since my studio is has been destroyed, now I have three shows. On the Tuesday show, we have ministers, and for those who are not familiar, it's a gospel religious content based show that I have. We have religious ministers from South Africa. We have ministers from Nigeria, and we have minister from the UK on my Tuesday show. I have been doing this show for 3 years now, basically with the same ministers. What happened on my show each time the camera goes live is none of these three ministers speak to each other about their topic. But every time they come, they speak on the same topic. I don't know how it happens. We're all blown away. They speak the same topic, the same message. I have a Wednesday show, which is a youth ministry or a youth program. I have young people in South Africa. I have in Nigeria. I have in Canada. I have in Jamaica. I have in the United Kingdom. And I have here in the United States. If you were to listen to those shows, that's the only way you would believe what I'm saying. We do not send a memo out on any ever, ever. But the young people from across this world would come with the same topic. I intentionally, they don't have their each other numbers, but they would come and they would speak on the same topic, especially even yesterday broadcast just blow everybody's mind. So that is why people are drawn to it because they have never really experienced anything like this, where people who have never met each other, but we're on the same platform. We did not send a memo or said we should be speaking on faith, we should be speaking on love, but each time they come, that's the same topic. And this has been going on for the last 4 years.
All right. I'm curious there.
Yes.
How does it happen? Is it a miracle or is it we need some explanation. How do you explain that?
I cannot explain it. I cannot explain it. I, I I can honestly, I cannot explain it.
All right,
And I
but
and I
you are the CEO of the company. Now you design the program. I want to believe, right?
yes,
Why did you design it like that?
once again, I did not design it. I just was being obedient to what I was hearing in my head. So, I am a Christian, I'm a child of God, and I believe God speaks to me through me. So, for each of the child that we selected on the program, it was a voice I heard in my head. It was a voice I heard for the minister. Um, I remember interviewing my minister out of Nigeria. She came to my broadcast for me to interview her because she's a gospel singer. But while I was interviewing her 3 years ago, I just said to her, "You're not a minister. You're not a singer. You're a pastor." I didn't know it about her, but the Holy Spirit somehow got a hold of her and it was something else. And I said to her, "I am going to need you for a future broadcast. I have something planned for you." Her name is Pastor Debbie Ajia out of Nigeria. And that's how it started. With everyone, I heard a voice in my head. And I'm trusting that voice and I'm believing that voice. So if you want to call it a miracle, you can call it a miracle. I don't know. I really don't. I have no, but whatever it is good and I'm enjoying it.
All right, I wanted to ask you that because
Yeah.
that is important. You are enjoying it, right?
And not only me, everyone is enjoying it.
All right, that's
Yes.
good. That's fair enough. Now tell me, so you wake up in the morning, you are going to the radio studio, because you have a program. What do you do?
Okay. So I am the engineer. I so we stream live on several different platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and live on the radio itself. So I would have some pre recording that I would think that I want to play some music. But each time I get into my studio, it's a different vibes. So everything that I do, it's never the same every week. It's always something different. The content is always something different. It's the same format, meaning Pastor Joshua would come at 5:05. Pastor Debbie will come at 5:30. Psalmist Cheetah will come at 6:30. Same format. Then based upon how the broadcast, if someone should call in the studio and want to participate, if someone want to call the studio and said, Auntie Donna, and that is how I'm affectionately called here in the United States and across the world. Auntie Donna, do you want me to, can I pray? Can I sing a song? And I would say, sure, because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, never want to do that. And based upon the feeling that I get, then I would select the music to go along with the atmosphere of the broadcast for that particular day. So that's what it is. So I am the engineer. I select the music and I monitor the stream, the broadcast. And that's what it is. And after a while, it becomes a routine, pretty easy, because I have like 6 monitors in front of me, monitoring Facebook and YouTube on phones and devices. But it becomes so easy as if I'm doing it for years. And I have never done this in my life.
Mhm.
Even that is a miracle.
Yeah. There's a lot of miracle happening all around you.
Even that is a miracle. Oh, yeah. If you want to talk about miracle, we can go there.
Anyway, okay. Now, let's look at the radio again from the point of view of storytelling
Yeah,
because we believe so much on that. Of course, you will read here written, everyone has a story to share. Of course, that is what we are sharing just now.
sure.
You just shared your story with us, and we are really privileged to be able to listen to you.
Hmm.
Now, I want you to tell me because you own a radio station in New York. How do you see the importance of owning your voice? Because you have found your voice. Owning a radio meaning that you have an outlet to be able to speak to people. That is not small power at all. That is not small power at all. We need more of that in the community. But how do we convince people that that is actually valuable, that is valid? Tell me about the importance of owning your voice in the African diaspora community.
I tell you, it is very important that we own our voice. But before we own our voice, we have to own our truth, who we really are, what is our purpose, knowing who we were created to be. And once you fully grasp that, then your voice will naturally comes out. And this is as much as I can say on that. That once you own your truth, once you are living an authentic life, a truthful life, your voice will be heard.
Now, have you had maybe heard of some people who want to do what you are doing? I don't know, they might be there in New York or in some other place among the diaspora community, but they are not doing it. And because the difference between you want something and where you are not able to get what you want, meaning that is something that is standing between you and what you want. But I'm just trying to understand if you have seen people who want something like what you have, I don't know, maybe work in the radio station, able to speak their truth.
Well, that is exactly what we do on Positive Radio. Um, on Positive Radio, we we're a platform where everyone can speak their truth. um, all of the ministers that come. I am not the only voice on Positive Radio. As we speak, there is a minister that is on. She comes on from 3 to 5. So it's giving people a chance. I That is what I have been doing, giving everyone a chance, giving the children a voice, the children from across the globe a voice, a platform so their voice can be heard. If you come to me and said, Auntie Donna, can I be on Positive Radio? And I must tell you that it even happened today when someone wanted to be, wanted a slot on the radio, but I was not hearing it in my head. So I cannot like go forward with having such person. But I am the platform. I am a conduit, I believe, and all of my platforms are available for people to use. I'm not selfish with it. And that is what we need in the world, for people to create platforms so other can perform on it. That is also, it would fall in line of my nonprofit as well, because we created positive radio. Hadn't positive radio been created, um, a young minister on our show, he comes on every Saturday. He's 20 years old, 22 years old. He has been with me since he was 18. And he has his own radio broadcast right here on the radio. So if people like myself would create platform, more voices would be heard. I don't know if I don't know if there are people out there who wants to do it, but if there's someone who wants to do it, be mindful of the content that you're going to put out in the universe. You know, because what you put out there is what you will receive.
Thank you for that. In fact, that is what I wanted to ask you. That
Yeah,
is where actually I'm dragging at, no?
yeah.
That how can maybe more people be inspired to do this thing that you are doing and do it right? Because you are not going to be able to solve all the problems in the world, but by inspiring people to make an effort to solve their problem, you are bringing more good to this world, to the experience that we are having.
It has to be good.
I want you to speak more to that.
It, it has to be good. Whatever you deserve, because all of us wants good. So we have to create things that is going to make people feel good, or when they hear it, they feel good. When they see it, they feel good, or they're motivated to copy or duplicate you. So if you plan to do any of this, it must have a purpose for the betterment of this world.
Thank you for that. All right, now I want you to spend some time on your NGO. I know you have already talked about it, how you use it to help people in terms of education and things like that. Where you can never speak too much of it. So I want you to spend some time on it again. But what are you really focusing on? Which area are you using your NGO to assist people? Share some numbers with us.
Okay. So let's do this in reverse, since we have already established that I've been doing this for 29 years. This year, we're focusing on Ghana. So we are in the process of shipping items to Ghana. We call it Pollyanna Moves for 2023. We have already sent items to Sierra Leone, and Ghana. Reason being is Ghana is where I have my parents live. I call them my parents. They were pastors who were living here in New York, and they retired back in Ghana. So we're going to be going there. But in Jamaica, when we started in 1994, we started with 35 children. And we started it when my mother was alive, and she died 6 months later after she asked us to help the children in the community. She died 6 months later. We could have stopped, but the universe wouldn't allow us. So we continued. Um, we started out as a Christmas treat during the Christmas time to give kids toys and make them feel good. But we recognized along the way that that would not have served a greater purpose. We recognized that education was the way to go, not an instant Christmas toy. Um, in 2018, we went to Jamaica and we gave out 2,000 book bags across the islands to 2,000 children. Not only book bags, but we give them everything for schooling: notebooks, pencils, all their school supplies, a bag full of supplies. When COVID hit in 2020, we recognized that things just has to change because the way we were going about it, children now need different learning devices. So we went back to Jamaica and we along with the supporters and donors that we have here in the United States, we purchased computers, laptops and tablets, and we went to Jamaica and we distributed those to over 50 children along with their school supplies to the others. I must say one of our major sponsor is the Brooklyn Nets, who have been, and we have many, many, many sponsors, corporate sponsors as well, who have sent me. They won't let me quit. They will not let me quit. Every year I thought, because I'm not rich, I don't have that kind of money. My family's not rich. We don't have that kind of money. But people find it to call upon me and say, Donna, we have this. I know you have people who you can give it to. So that's when we start to spread our wings and we are heading into the continent of Africa.
Thank you for that. All right. Now, why did you decide to create this project, this NGO? Where did the idea come from?
It started right there. My mom called me. I have been living in the United States since 1989. And my mom called me in 1994 and she said, I think you should do something for the community. And I'm like, I'm tired, really, because I have always been a giving person. But, when your mom asks you to do something, you better listen. So I said, okay, what do you want me to do? And she said, send some money to buy some food and we can cook it and give the kids and give them some Christmas toys. So that's how it started. And as I said, unfortunately, 6 months later, my mom died, and her name is Miss Polly. So we named the project after her. We call it a Pollyanna Project. So every year, ever since, it has been growing. The ideas just come to me naturally in what to do and how to move the project forward, how we can help more children, how we can help more communities, because we have been doing that for, it could have been thousands and thousands of children across the world, but we're not keeping account on that.
Thank you for that. All right. Now, you said that you have a lot of corporate sponsors. With me now, you are able to get a fund to be able to keep the project going. Again, for the sake of those who are listening to you, who are not able to start NGO of their own, who want to start, I want you to share some experience with them. How can they start and how can they source for fund to be able to, I don't know, help or expand on the project that can be of service to either at the African diaspora community or in Africa, because that is our interest.
Well, that is tricky. People has to trust you. Bottom line, if people do not trust you, they're not going to give you their hard-earned money or their hard-earned resources or merchandise. Over the years, we have built trust with these people. I think, yeah, we have built trust with these people, with these sponsors, and that's it. So that is the foundation. You must be able for people to trust you, because it's not easy. I can tell you, Obehi, it's not easy. We have encountered mistrust on every trip that we have been on. Every trip. There's someone who wants to be dishonest on every trip. But we have the drive and the hard work to move forward. It is not easy. Persons want to do what I have been doing, but they do not want to do the foundational hard work. And it is hard work. And we didn't start getting major sponsors until the last 4 or 5 years, honestly. So we hit 25 years. People are watching if you're going to quit after year one. People are watching you if you're quitting after year 10. People are going to be watching you because they don't want to pour into you at year one and you run away with their money. It has happened to them before. So what the Pollyanna Project said, how we are spreading our wings now is smaller organization is coming to us, and we are dividing or sharing our merchandise that we have to help communities across the world and different countries. We have sent items to the other Caribbean islands, um, Saint Vincent, the Grenadine, Antigua, and many places that we have helped as well. So if you want to start an NGO, people has to trust you. You got to be trustworthy.
All right, I'd like to speak about the trust. Um, what do you think are the right strategy for maybe a beginner NGO or one who want to build NGO to adopt? I mean, the strategy to be able to build trust so that donors or people that have the resources and fund can support a project like that. What are the strategy to build the trust? What should the individual do?
Well, you would have been living it already. You would have been living a truthful life, right? You wouldn't be dishonest. You must be honest. You must be transparent, and be willing to do the hard work. That is the bottom line of anything that I've done, of all of the nonprofit that I'm associated with. We are hardworking people.
I believe that they are listening to you. All right, now on a personal level, of all these different projects that you are working on, the NGO included, which have been the most difficult time for you, the most challenging time for you that you have had to deal with, and despite that, you still continue.
I can't. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I really honestly, um, I can't see how God created me. Is that I can't see the lime, right? You know what I mean? If somebody give me lime, I'm making lemonade or limeade. Because whatever you throw my way, I am going to use it for good.
Give me an example of what you mean.
All right. The only difficult time that I personally have had, like in the last couple of years, would have been I was a member of a church, right? And the most difficult time I've ever had in my life was within that church. If I don't understand it, but then I come to realize that God wanted to prune me, to shape me. And the difficult time I mentioned it was people. So in every level of my organization and things that I've done, I have to work with people, and persons, because when I believe that when people know your background, they do not think that you're worthy to lead. Does that make sense? You're not
Yeah,
worthy
yeah,
to
it
lead
does.
them. They think that you should not be the head, because if they know that you used to sell at the gate of markets, how comes you're telling me to move this? How comes you're telling me, what makes you think you should? I remember when you used to sell at the market gates. You know what I mean? So that is my life challenges all the time, but I've learned to navigate that. So if they toss anything at me, I just brush it off, and I'm human.
Thank you for that. Though I would have liked you to spend more time on how you deal with those moments because that is actually what makes us more human because we deal with this thing all the time. And sometimes people don't know how to deal with them. But by sharing with them how you navigate those treachery, those difficult time, now they know how to navigate it too. Because sometimes we are not taught this in school. Sometimes there is nobody that is actually there teaching you. That is why we actually are here sharing our life experience. Just this is my life experience. It is left for you to see what you can take out of it. I don't need to tell you this is what you should do, but I just tell you this is my life experience. So it is left for you to see what you can learn from it. Anyway, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but as how I have navigated it is my truth. Um, and I keep going back to truth, because if you live a truthful life, if someone tells a lie on you, there's no way you're going to believe that lie. The problem I believe in with some people is that they start to believe a lie about them, that believe a lie about them. There are people who are among us that is believing a lie. Like if they said you're ugly or you're not good enough, you start to believe that you're ugly. You start to believe that you're not good enough. For me, no, I am not believing a lie because I know who I am. We have to know who we are so that we will never believe a lie. And that is what the world needs more of. If we know truth, right? I know my ancestors came from Africa. So my intention is if I want to, I'm going back to Africa, if anything. I should be helping my descendants in Africa, right? So I am intentionally doing that, going back to where my forefathers have been. They were bought to a ship to the Caribbean. You understand? So that is my truth. No one can tell me that I'm from an Asian country because somebody tell you you're from Asia, you start believing it. You're from America, you start believing it. No, I'm not from America. My ancestors came from Africa. I have probably descendants down there. You understand? So that's my truth. That's what I believe. So we have to know truth and believe truth. Then we will not accept somebody else's lie.
But why do you think some people don't believe truth? They just believe the lie.
A lie is
Uh,
easy. A lie is easy. It's easy. Truth requires research, and some of us are lazy. Lie is easy. All right, that's confident. All right, that's true. A lie is easy, but truth require research, and it's not. The truth is not easily digestible. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So that's it. People don't even want to work on themselves. You tell me I'm a murderer? Okay, let me go live a murderous life. Why not tell you I'm a king? So if they tell me I'm a king, I may have to dress a particular way. Then my friends are gonna say, "What change about you?" And you're gonna be acting better than me. When we should be told that in the inception that we are kings and we are queens. And then we would be better as a race because then we would start to walk with our heads high all the time, our heads high and our pants up.
yeah, I get the message on the line. I believe the people get it too.
Yes,
Yeah, we need to do the hard work to make our life better.
absolutely.
Or the alternative, we can do the simple work, then our life will be difficult.
We're all talented. We just need to point that out to each other.
Yeah.
We're all talented. We're waiting for somebody to come and said, you should do that. And while we're waiting for somebody to do that, we have to accept when someone comes to us and said, "Yes, I believe you."
That too is true. Though it would really have it'd be required of an individual to find their own truth, to find out why they are here.
Mhm.
You see, the question will always go back to where we are coming from.
Yes.
You need to know why you are here. I know, I understand what I'm saying. It is not easy. It is not easy for people to even know why they are here. Uh-uh.
It's hard
Anyway,
work. It's hard
I
work.
don't want to drag it too much, but that is the situation.
It is
It's,
hard
it,
work.
yeah. All right. So now tell me, what is your satisfaction in all this that you do? Like you just said, it is hard work. It really is hard work. That is true. How do you get satisfaction in it, and why are you continuously doing it?
The fruits. The fruits. The fruit that keeps reaping or bearing. The duplication. That is my satisfaction. Um, my satisfaction is when I took this young man, Taj, under my belt. He was just my co host. And now he has his own broadcast. That's a fruit. Across the world, you would hear people like, Aunty Donna, I want to be like you. That caused me satisfaction. Um, Bottom line, it's nothing too complicated. We are here to be replicated. I don't know if we can be duplicated, but I don't know that, but it's just the fruit that people, you make somebody wants to be a better version of themselves. That is my satisfaction.
Thank you so much, Aunty Donna. Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate the time. I appreciate the sharing.
Yes.
All right, now, what would be your final thought here to conclude the conversation? Maybe a message of yours, or maybe something you have wanted to say I didn't ask you, but it's not possible for me to ask you everything and to know everything. So conclude it in your own way. Please go ahead.
Okay. Bottom line, we have to know who we are, what we were created for, what is our purpose. Um, if we should find the answer to these, the answer really and truly is within us. If we could only accept that fact, then we would be a better person. Um, we would live accordingly. We would live to accomplish all that we have thought we want to be. It's not complicated. It's pretty simple and easy. Just manage time management, and you can don't be lazy. Is one of the things, because if you're lazy, you can't accomplish anything. But knowing your purpose, knowing who you were created to be, and be good, and be good to someone, be kind to someone, have patience with someone, love someone, love upon someone, and share what you have with others. And that's it, because what we have is not really ours. We have for ourselves, and the residual is to share with others.
That is so powerful. How much I love that. It's just like what I was touching before, Don, that if you can talk, it's not for you. You are talking because of another person.
Yeah.
Because if the purpose is for you, you are better off keep it quiet because the thought is in your head.
Yes.
You don't use the mouth to talk.
Mhm.
The mouth is to talk to another person.
Yes, that is so true.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time and also the wisdom that you share here.
Wow. I thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much, my friend. You're now
Thank you.
my friend.
Thank
Bless
you.
you.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that.
Yes.
If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewafo. Thank you so much for listening and talk to you in the next episode.